The night sky above the Orion Academy was quiet, painted with soft blue stars and slow-moving training drones. Most students were asleep, dreaming of glory and medals, but one student was wide awake. His name was Eren Vale, the quiet boy, the boy no one understood. He sat alone at the edge of the academy roof, legs hanging off the sides, staring at the empty sky. His eyes did not blink much, and his face stayed calm, almost emotionless. As if he were made of glass, anyone who saw him at that moment would think he was simply enjoying the cool air. But if someone looked closer, they would see the truth. His hands were shaking, because tomorrow was the Deathworld Exam. It was not a normal test. It was the most feared exam in the galaxy. Only the strongest survived, only the bravest returned. Many students failed, and some never came back. Everyone knew this, everyone feared this. But Eren feared something else. He whispered to himself in a low voice only he could hear, "Please, not again, I don't want to lose control again." Down below, a group of students walked past the training yard, laughing loudly. Their voices rose up toward the roof like a wave. "Did you see Eren today?" one student said. "He didn't answer a single question." "Yeah," another replied. "He's too quiet. He's going to die in the Deathworld exam for sure. Maybe he just won't show up." The third student laughed. Their footsteps faded and silence returned. Eren did not react. He was used to it. Students had been talking like this for years. He was the boy who rarely spoke, the boy who never fought back, the boy who avoided eye contact, the boy with no friends, but there was a reason for his silence, and he carried it like a heavy chain around his neck. Inside the academy building, a large hologram suddenly flickered on. A sharp alarm echoed through the halls. The emergency council meeting had started. Teachers, commanders, and exam officials gathered inside a round chamber, faces filled with tension. The head instructor, Commander Rallick, stood in the center. "We have received a warning," he said. "A Deathworld signal. Something is waking on Vraxar 9. Gasps filled the room. Vraxar 9, the planet chosen for tomorrow's exam, was known as a living nightmare, poisonous jungles, hidden predators. Shifting ground, but now something worse was happening. A digital screen displayed a terrifying reading. Movement detected, subterranean creature, unknown classification. One of the instructors asked, "Should we delay the exam?" Commander Rallick shook his head slowly. "No, in fact, this might be a good test." A few instructors exchanged worried looks. Another voice spoke from the back of the room. "What about him? What about Subject Vale?" Everyone fell silent. Commander Rallick's expression changed just for a moment to something like fear. "He will participate," he replied. "We must see how he reacts. The experiment is not complete." He turned off the hologram and ended the meeting. The instructors walked out silently. They all knew the secret. They all knew who Eren truly was. They all knew what was inside him, and they feared him. Back on the rooftop, Eren finally stood up. He took a deep breath, pulled his dark jacket tighter, and walked toward the rooftop door. He had planned to return to his room to try to sleep, to calm his mind before tomorrow. Then his wrist communicator suddenly beeped. A message flashed on the small screen. "Unknown source, please respond." Eren stopped. His heartbeat quickened. No one ever contacted him. No family, no friends, no one. He pressed the receive button. A shaky voice came through, a female voice, scared, whispering fast. "Eren, can you hear me, please? You must listen. They're lying to you. The exam, it's a trap." Eren froze in place. "Who are you?" he asked quietly. The voice replied immediately. "My name is Lyra. I don't have time to explain. They are listening. The instructors, the council, they are using you." Eren's eyes narrowed slightly. He didn't fully understand, but something inside him felt the truth in her voice. "They want the creature to wake up," Lyra continued. "They want you to face it. They want to see what you will become." Eren's chest tightened. He looked at his hands again, the same hands that once caused something terrible, something he tried to forget, something he tried to hide. "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. "Because if you lose control again, you won't survive, and the others won't either." Eren stepped back from the door, confused and scared. "Where are you?" he whispered. "I'm hiding near the old communication tower," Lyra said. "Come alone. I will explain everything." Before Eren could say another word, the connection cut off. The screen turned blank. He stared at it for a long moment, breathing hard. Was this real? Was it a trap? Why would anyone warn him? Why would anyone risk sending a secret message? But deep inside, a quiet voice whispered in his mind, "Go." Without hesitation, he jumped off the rooftop, landing lightly on the balcony below. His movements were fast, almost too smooth for a normal human. He moved across the academy grounds like a shadow. He did not want to use his abilities. He hated them. He feared them. But when danger came, they surfaced on their own. The communication tower stood on the far side of the academy, old and abandoned. No students came here. The wind howled through broken metal frames, and the ground was covered with dead leaves. Eren stepped forward slowly. "Lyra," he called softly. A dark silhouette stepped out from behind a broken console. A girl with short silver hair, thin build, and sharp eyes. She looked young, maybe his age, but her clothes were torn and her breathing was rough, like she had been running for hours. "You came," she said, relief in her voice. "Who are you?" Eren asked again. Lyra took a step closer. Her eyes were filled with fear not of him, but of something else. I used to work in the research wing, she whispered. I knew everything about the program, about the hybrid experiments, about Subject Vale. Eren felt a cold shock run through him. Hybrid program, Subject Vale, words he hated, words that haunted his past. You're lying, Eren said, but his voice was weak. Lyra shook her head firmly. They chose you because you survived the first incident. They watched you lose control. They watched what your power did to those people. They want it to happen again. Eren stumbled back. Heart-pounding, memories flashed, blood screaming, his own hands glowing with strange energy, a force bursting out of him like a storm he couldn't control. No, I didn't want that, he whispered. Lyra grabbed his arm. You're not a monster, Eren. You're a weapon they are trying to control. Eren stared into her eyes. For the first time in many years, someone seemed to care. Someone seemed to know his pain. Someone understood. But before he could ask more questions, a loud, mechanical click echoed from the shadows. They both froze. Red targeting lasers appeared on the ground around them. Academy security troops stepped out from behind the old console. 5 soldiers, guns pointed at Eren and Lyra. A metallic voice spoke from a drone above. Subject Vale, return to your quarters. The exam begins at dawn. Lyra stepped in front of Eren. Don't trust them, they're testing you, not training you. The lead soldier raised his weapon. Step away from the subject. Eren's heartbeat grew louder, faster, stronger. Something inside him, the thing he feared, began to awaken. His vision blurred, the world seemed to slow down. His breathing became deep and steady. His skin felt warm, glowing faintly with hidden power. No, he whispered. Not again. Lyra grabbed his hand. Eren, don't lose control, not here, not now. But the soldiers aimed at Lyra. They were going to shoot. And something inside Eren snapped. His eyes turned a darker shade. His muscles tightened. The air around him vibrated. The soldiers stepped back in fear. What is he? Before they could finish the sentence, Eren moved. 1 second he stood still. The next second he was gone, a blur of speed, a shockwave of force. The soldiers were knocked aside, weapons crushed like paper. The drone above shattered into pieces. Lyra stared in shock. She had heard stories of his power. But seeing it was different. It was like watching a storm wrapped in human skin. Eren stood in the center of the wreckage, breathing hard, eyes glowing faintly. He looked down at his hands again. He hated them. He feared them. And now he knew the truth. Tomorrow's exam was not meant to test his survival. It was meant to unlock the monster inside him. Lyra stepped toward him, voice soft but urgent. There is still time, Eren. You can choose your own path. But once you step on that death world, everything will change. Eren closed his eyes. He already knew tomorrow the galaxy would see the real him, not the quiet boy, not the weak student, but something else, something dangerous, something powerful, something they never expected. And the death world would be the first to witness it. The Academy alarms echoed across the empty night as Eren and Lyra ran through the abandoned communication tower ruins. Red lights flashed from every direction, turning the metal walls into glowing scars. The cold wind pushed dust across the broken ground. Eren's breathing was steady, but his mind was chaos. He had attacked the soldiers without thinking. He had moved too fast, too strong, too violent. He was changing again, just like before. Lyra ran beside him, holding her injured arm. She was scared, but not of Eren. She was scared of what was coming. We can't stay here. Whispered, they will send more soldiers, elite ones, stronger ones. They won't let you walk free now. Eren stopped beside a broken pillar. His hands were still shaking, half from fear, half from something awakening inside him. What do they want from me? He asked softly. Lyra looked at him, her silver eyes full of worry. They want to push you, she said. Push your power, push your limits, push your control until you break. Eren looked away. He didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to remember the first time he lost control. The screaming, the burning light, the bodies falling, the blood. Lyra stepped closer. Eren, they don't see you as a person. They see you as a weapon. They will use you until you destroy yourself. Eren clenched his fists hard. Sparks of glowing energy flickered across his fingers, small but dangerous. I don't want this power, he whispered. I never asked for it. Lyra smiled sadly. Sometimes the strongest powers choose the people who don't want them. Before Eren could respond, a loud metallic thud echoed across the tower ruins. Eren instantly pulled Lyra behind him. A patrol, she whispered. No, Eren murmured. Something heavier. A second thud, then a third, then the ground shook beneath their feet. Lyra's eyes widened. They sent a Titan unit. Eren didn't speak. He already knew what that meant. Titan units were not humans, not soldiers. Not robots. They were bioengineered hunters, part machine, part living flesh, created for one purpose, to track and capture dangerous subjects like him. A huge shadow appeared between 2 broken walls. A tall metal structure with a glowing red core, 4 legs like steel blades, a long tail that crackled with electricity, and a head that scanned the area with a bright, cold light. The Titan unit growled, half robotic, half animal. Eren felt a drop of sweat slide down his face. Eren, run, Lyra whispered, but Eren didn't move. The Titan unit's red sensor locked onto him. Target identified. Subject Vale engage. It leaped forward, the ground exploding under its weight. Lyra screamed. Eren stepped forward calmly. His eyes darkened, his heartbeat slowed, his senses sharpened. For the first time tonight, he let the power rise, just a little. The Titan unit swung its tail toward him. Trailing lightning, the air snapped with bright blue sparks. Eren ducked under it, moving faster than normal humans could see. The tail sliced through the air, missing him by a hair. The Titan unit recalibrated instantly and struck again. Eren grabbed Lyra and rolled behind a broken console. "Stay down," he said. Lyra stared at him, breath shaking. "You can't fight that thing." Eren didn't answer. He stepped back out, facing the machine again. The Titan unit charged. Eren moved. He sidestepped the first strike, then another. He ducked under the machine's legs, sliding smoothly across the metal floor. The Titan unit roared and slammed its front legs down, creating a shockwave that shattered nearby debris. Eren jumped back, breathing faster. The machine was learning his patterns. He couldn't avoid the attacks forever. "You're holding back," Lyra shouted from behind cover. "You won't win if you hold back." Eren closed his eyes for 1 second. She was right, but the last time he unleashed his full power, people died. The Titan unit didn't give him time to think. It launched itself at him, claws out, mouth wide open, revealing rows of spinning metal teeth. Eren lifted his hand. The hidden power burst. A shock of glowing blue energy exploded from his palm, hitting the machine directly in the chest. The blast pushed the Titan unit back several meters, scraping deep metal trails across the ground. Lyra gasped. Eren stood still, chest rising and falling. He had only used a small fraction of his power, and it was already too much. The Titan unit slowly stood back up. Its red core flickered violently. Damage detected, engaging lethal protocols. Huge metal plates opened from its shoulders, revealing twin plasma cannons. Lyra's face turned pale. "This is bad, this is very bad." Eren took a step forward. "No more running." The Titan unit fired. Twin bolts of deadly plasma shot toward him, bright enough to blind. Eren leaped to the side. The ground where he stood exploded, leaving a deep smoking crater. The machine fired again. Eren rolled under it, grabbed its leg, and using raw power, tore the metal joint apart. Sparks flew as the machine stumbled, its balance broken. Before Eren could move away, the Titan unit swung its tail at him. The electrified blade struck Eren across the shoulder. He fell to the ground, gasping in pain. Lyra screamed, running toward him, but Eren shouted, "Stay back." The Titan unit raised its front leg, aiming to crush him completely. Eren pressed his palm against the ground. No, the air around him vibrated with growing power. Not this time. The ground cracked. Energy flickered across his arms. His eyes glowed like burning stars. The Titan unit's front leg came down, and Eren stopped it with one hand. The metal screamed under the pressure. The machine's sensors glitched. Its power readings went wild. Lyra watched in disbelief. Eren stood slowly, pushing the heavy leg away. The Titan unit tried to step back, but Eren moved faster. He punched the machine in the chest once. The red core cracked. He punched again, harder. The core flickered violently. Then he placed both hands on the core and unleashed a wave of raw energy. The Titan unit's body began to glow, shaking, cracking. "Eren, move!" Lyra shouted. Eren jumped back just as the machine exploded into pieces of hot metal and burning wires. The explosion lit the night sky like a second sun. Silence fell. Only the sound of crackling fire remained. Eren stood in the center of the debris, chest rising fast, power fading slowly in his veins. Lyra approached him carefully. "You defeated a Titan unit," she whispered. "No student has ever done that. No human has ever done that." Eren wiped blood from his shoulder. "I didn't want to." Lyra stepped closer. "But you did, and the Academy saw everything." Eren's face darkened. Cameras, sensors, drones, all watching him, all recording his abilities. "Now they know," he said quietly. "They know my power is waking again." Lyra nodded, "And that means tomorrow's exam will be even more dangerous." Eren looked up at the sky where the Deathworld Exam ship would arrive in a few hours. The quiet boy was gone. Something else stood in his place now, something dangerous, something awakening, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The morning sun never rose for the Orion Academy that day. Instead, thick gray clouds covered the sky like a heavy blanket, swallowing the early light. Cold wind carried dust across the empty courtyard. The Academy was silent, too silent, as if the entire building was holding its breath. The Deathworld Exam ship waited in the center, huge. Black and shaped like a giant spear pointed at the sky. Its engines hummed with deep, vibrating energy. Blue lights crawled around its body like rivers of electricity. But Eren Vale and Lyra were not inside the academy with the other students. They stood at the very edge of the tall training cliff, looking down toward the loading zone from a hidden path. Eren's shoulder still bled, but he didn't care. His mind wasn't on the pain. His mind was on the faint. Strange feeling in the air. Something was calling him, not a voice, not a sound, a pressure, a pulse, a heartbeat coming from the planet Vraxar 9 itself. "You feel it too, don't you?" Lyra whispered. Eren nodded slowly. "It's like the planet knows me," he said, "like it's waiting for me." Lyra tightened her gloves, nervous. "This is why I warned you. Vraxar isn't a normal death world. The creature underground, the one from the signal, it's reacting to you." Eren turned to her. "What is it? What woke up?" Lyra hesitated. The scientists called it the Titan Maw, a creature older than human history, a creature born from dark energy, a creature that senses power and hunts it. Eren's stomach tightened, but he didn't show fear. Is that why the exam wasn't cancelled? Lyra nodded. The instructors want to see what happens when your power meets the Titan Maw. They want to push you until you break. Eren looked at the academy again, at the windows filled with students preparing for the exam, at the teachers' scanning equipment, at the shining Deathworld ship waiting to take them all to danger. Then I'll survive it, Eren said quietly, but not for them, for me. Lyra touched his arm gently. No, you have to survive for something bigger, for the truth, for breaking their control, for stopping what they created inside you. Eren looked at her confused. What they created inside me? Lyra took a deep breath. She had held the truth for too long. Eren, you aren't just a normal student with strange abilities. You are the only living hybrid created from Project Vale. Eren froze. Project Vale. He had heard whispers, rumors, things that students joked about, but he never believed them. What am I? He asked, voice soft. Lyra looked into his dark eyes. You are part human, part Deathworld energy. You were created from the essence of a dying Titan creature. They fused its core with you when you were a child. They hoped to grow a perfect weapon. Eren's throat tightened. He wanted to deny it. He wanted to say she was lying. He wanted to believe he was normal, but he wasn't. He never was, and deep inside he already knew it. I am the monster they made, Eren whispered. Lyra grabbed his hand. No, you are the boy who survived, the boy who kept fighting his nature. Boy who chose kindness instead of violence. That makes you more human than all of them. For a moment, the wind was the only sound between them. Then the academy sirens blared. All students report for Deathworld exam loading. The courtyard filled with noise as hundreds of students marched toward the black exam ship. Teachers checked survival gear, shields powered on, weapons were handed out. Lyra looked at Eren. This is your last chance, she whispered. You can escape. We can run, you don't have to go. Eren stared at the ship. Something deep inside him pulled stronger than ever. No, he said, I must go. Whatever is calling me, I have to face it. Lyra shook her head. You don't understand. The Titan Maw doesn't call, it hunts. Eren didn't blink, then let it hunt. The Deathworld ship's loading doors opened with a loud metallic hiss. Blue fog rolled out, covering the ground in a thick glowing mist. Students stepped inside with nervous whispers. Eren and Lyra approached from behind the tall cliffs, staying out of sight. Are you sure you want to go in from the rear? Lyra asked. Eren nodded. If the instructors see you with me, they'll capture you too. Lyra took a deep breath. Then I'll stay hidden here, but I'll find a way to contact you once you land. Eren slowly stepped onto the loading platform. The fog swirled around his legs. Eren, Lyra called softly. He turned. You're not alone, she said. Even if they put you on a Deathworld, even if your power awakens, you're not alone. For the first time, a small crack appeared in Eren's cold expression, a hint of warmth, a hint of hope. Thank you, he said quietly. Then the ship doors closed between them. Lyra watched the metal plate slide shut, her chest tight. Please survive, Eren, she whispered. Please. Inside the ship, students sat in long rows, strapped into seats. Their helmets glowed with blue HUD displays. Their hands held survival kits, weapons, oxygen boosts. Eren walked inside quietly. The chatter stopped. Dozens of students stared at him. Some whispered, "That's the quiet kid, right? He looks different today. Is he bleeding? Did he fight someone?" Eren ignored them, but one student, a tall boy named Jace, known as the Academy's strongest, stood up. He blocked Eren's path. Well, the quiet little mouse decided to come after all, Jace said loudly. A few students laughed nervously. Jace leaned closer, smirking. You won't last 5 minutes on Vraxor Vale, so stay behind me if you want to live. He didn't finish. Eren looked up slowly. Their eyes met. For a moment, Jace froze, because Eren's eyes were not normal. They were darker, sharper, burning with something Jace had never seen before, a predator's calm. Eren spoke quietly. Move. Jace felt a chill run down his spine. He stepped aside without arguing. Eren walked past him without looking back. The other students whispered even more now. Something was different about the quiet boy, something dangerous, something waking. The ship shook as the engines roared to life. The floor vibrated, lights flashed red. All students prepare for planet entry. The instructor's voice echoed across the ship. Remember your training, remember your team protocols. Vraxor 9 is unpredictable. Stay alert, stay together. Eren closed his eyes, gripping the straps of his seat. He felt the call again, stronger, louder, like a deep heartbeat inside the planet. His heartbeat matched it. Boom, boom, boom. The ship pierced the atmosphere. Flames rushed across the windows. Gravity pulled hard against their bodies. The students gripped their seats tightly. The ship screeched as it entered Vraxor's sky. Thunder cracked. Wind howled. Lightning danced across the clouds. The planet welcomed them like a beast welcoming prey. Eren opened his eyes. I'm coming, he whispered. The planet whispered back inside his mind. Come. The ship descended faster. The jungle grew closer. The light grew darker. The danger grew stronger. And deep beneath the surface of Vraxor 9, something ancient, something massive, something hungry opened its eyes for the first time in centuries. It felt Eren. It recognized the energy inside him. It recognized its own blood. The hybrid returns. The Titan Maw roared beneath the ground, and the Deathworld exam officially began. The Deathworld ship shook violently as it cut through the thick clouds of Vraxar 9. The engines roared like angry beasts fighting against the chaotic winds. Students clutched their harnesses, their faces pale, eyes wide. But Eren Vale sat perfectly still. He didn't blink, he didn't flinch, he listened to the heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. The deeper they went, the clearer the sound became. It wasn't the ship, it wasn't thunder, it was the planet. Vraxar 9 was alive, hungry, waiting. Jace, sitting 2 rows behind him, kept staring nervously at Eren's back. "That kid, he's not normal," Jace whispered to the girl next to him. She nodded. "He hasn't spoken a word, he's like a ghost." Jace swallowed hard. "No, worse than a ghost," before she could ask more. The ship slammed into a violent air pocket. Boom, the entire cabin jerked sideways. Students screamed. The lights flickered. Warning alarms flashed across every HUD display. Impact imminent, brace for landing. The ship dropped fast. Weapons, helmets, and supply packs rattled in their lockers. The ship shuddered like it was being punched by invisible fists. Eren closed his eyes. He could hear it again, the voice, the pull, the vibration under his skin. It was calling him. "Come," but another voice overlapped in his memory. Lyra's voice. "You're not a monster, Eren. You're more human than they ever were." He opened his eyes. The ship hit the ground. Crash, metal screamed. Students were thrown forward against their restraints. Smoke filled the cabin. Loose wires sparked. The floor tilted sharply. Eren's arm snapped free from the straps. He pushed himself up quickly, scanning the cabin. The hatch blew open with a loud hiss as cold alien air rushed inside. A thick fog rolled in, glowing faintly blue. Strange insect-like sounds echoed from outside, mixed with distant growls. The students trembled, even the strongest ones. Jace whispered, "This place, it's hell." Eren stepped forward, calm, because he knew this was not hell, this was home. The Deathworld revealed the jungle outside was alive with motion. Huge twisted trees rose into the sky like dark towers. Their roots glowed with faint blue veins, pulsing softly like heartbeats. Strange leaves shimmered with neon colors. The ground shook from time to time, small quakes caused by something moving deep below. A heavy mist covered everything like a ghostly blanket. Jay stepped off the ship and gasped. "What kind of planet is this?" One student answered shakily, "A Deathworld, idiot, a planet where everything wants to kill you." Another whispered, "Then why are the trees glowing?" Eren knew the answer. They weren't trees. They were feeding roots connected to something beneath them, something awake, but he said nothing, not yet. An instructor walked out from the front of the ship. His armor was sleek, black, and glowing red at the edges. He raised his voice. "Students, form groups of 5. His tone was sharp, but his eyes were nervous. Even the instructors feared this place. The students scrambled to find teams. Eren stood alone, as always. Jace watched him from a distance, chewing his lip nervously. "Should we invite him?" A girl in Jace's group whispered. Jace shook his head quickly. "No, something's wrong with him. I don't want him near me." Eren didn't care. He started walking toward the dark jungle path, but the instructor shouted, "Vale, do not move alone. You must join a team." Eren turned his head slowly. The instructor suddenly felt cold. Eren's eyes were glowing again, just a faint color, almost unnoticeable. Almost. The instructor swallowed and looked away, pretending he didn't see it. "Fine, Vale, you may proceed alone." Students stared in confusion. Why does he get to go alone? Is he special? Did he bribe the instructors? But deep in the instructor's mind, only one thought existed. If he wants to go alone, let him. We can't control him anyway. The jungle breathes. Eren stepped into the mist. Instantly, the air changed. The sounds grew louder. The glow grew brighter. The heartbeat grew stronger. Boom, boom, boom. Eren touched the glowing blue root beside him. It vibrated under his fingertips. Warm, alive, connected to the creature, the Titan Maw. As he walked deeper, the mist twisted around him, almost like fingers pulling him forward. Something watched him from the shadows, small red eyes blinking through the leaves. Strange creatures moved between the trees, skeleton thin with long claws. They circled him silently, but none attacked. They smelled him, they felt his energy, they recognized him. He was one of them. The first attack, the peaceful moment, ended with a scream, a student's scream. Eren turned instantly. Not far away, a group of 5 students ran through the trees. Jace's team. Something chased them. A huge beast burst from the shadows behind them, taller than a house, with 4 legs, each ending in curved claws. Its skin was made of black stone, covered in cracks that glowed red inside. Its mouth was wide, filled with spinning teeth like drills, a gravelback reaper. The students screamed and scattered. Jace tripped and fell, rolling across the dirt. The reaper lunged at him. Jace raised his arms, crying out, and Eren moved. He didn't think, he didn't hesitate. His power reacted faster than his mind. Eren appeared between Jace and the beast. He caught the Reaper's claw with one hand. Every student froze. The beast tried to crush him. Eren's feet dug into the ground. The dirt cracked around him. His eyes glowed brighter, veins lighting up on his arms. The Reaper roared. Eren roared back. With a quick twist, Eren shoved the claw aside. The force threw the Reaper off balance. Eren jumped, landing on the creature's back. Energy burst from his palm, lighting up the monster's cracked skin. The Reaper howled in pain. Eren slammed his hand onto its neck. Boom! A shockwave blasted through the jungle. Trees bent. Leaves flew. Mist exploded outward. The Reaper collapsed, twitching, then went still, silent, dead. The students stared at Eren, terrified. Jace crawled backward on the ground. "You, what are you?" he whispered. Eren stepped off the beast, breathing heavily, his eyes dimmed. "I don't know, it wasn't a lie, but it wasn't the whole truth either." The ground trembled suddenly, the earth shook hard, the students fell, the trees shook violently, cracks opened in the ground. Eren stood perfectly still. He felt it, not a random quake, not a normal earthquake, a response. The Titan Maw had felt him use his power. It was coming. Eren whispered, "It's me it wants, not the others." Jace heard him. "You mean that monster underground? It's hunting you." Eren didn't answer. He couldn't, because he heard the voice again, stronger, clearer, inside his bones. "Come to me, hybrid child, come." Eren closed his eyes. The jungle faded, the students faded, the sounds faded. Only the voice remained, the Titan Maw. It whispered with hunger, with rage, with recognition. "Come, my blood, my creation, my child." Eren's heartbeat matched the ground. Boom, boom, boom. He opened his eyes. They were glowing brighter than ever. "Everyone run," he said. Jace stammered. "What? Why?" Eren didn't blink. "Because something is coming, something none of you can fight. Run now." The ground split open behind him. Heat spilled out. A giant shadow moved far below. Jace screamed, "What is that?" Eren stepped forward, facing the darkness below. "My destiny." The Titan Maw opened its mouth deep underground, and the hunt began. The ground split like a giant mouth opening. Stone cracked, trees fell. Blue mist exploded upward, glowing like fireflies. Every student screamed and ran in every direction. But Eren Vale did not move. He stood on the edge of the growing fissure, staring into the blackness below. Something massive shifted beneath the earth, too big to understand, too old to imagine. The Titan Maw was waking. Jace grabbed Eren's arm desperately. "Eren, run, whatever is down there, it's going to kill us." Eren gently pulled his arm free. "It's not after you." Jace blinked in terror. Then what? Before he could finish, the earth roared. A shockwave blasted outward, throwing students across the jungle floor. Trees cracked in half. Rocks flew like bullets. Then everything fell silent, dead silent. Eren stepped closer to the edge. Dark smoke rose from the crack. The air grew warmer, hotter, uncomfortable to breathe. Then it breathed. A deep, slow inhale, like the lungs of a mountain pulling in air. Jace whispered, trembling, "It's alive." Eren didn't answer. He knew, he had always known. Something inside the Titan Maw called to something inside him, like two pieces of the same broken weapon being pulled together. Under the shaking ground, a huge shadow moved, slow, deliberate, patient. Thud, the earth trembled. Thud, leaves shook off branches. Thud, Eren could barely stand from the vibration. The Titan Maw was climbing toward the surface. Jace stood up shakily. I'm getting my team out of here." Eren nodded, eyes still fixed on the crack. "Take the others, go north." "You're staying," Jace shouted. "You're insane." "No," Eren whispered. "I'm chosen." Jace didn't wait, he ran. The beast emerges, the crack widened with a deafening roar. A huge claw erupted from the ground, black stone fused with living flesh, glowing red veins pulsing across its length. The claw dug into the earth, dragging something enormous upward. Another claw appeared, then the head. A giant skull-like face pushed through the dirt. Its eyes glowed with a deep red light like burning coals. Its mouth was a ring of layered fangs, each dripping with molten heat. The Titan Maw screamed. The scream was not like any animal sound. It was 1,000 voices crying out at once, echoing across the jungle, shaking the sky, tearing the air apart. Students far away covered their ears and fell to their knees. Animals fled, insects scattered, the ground shook as though the planet itself trembled in fear, but Eren didn't flinch. The Titan Maw lowered its massive head toward him. Its red eyes fixed directly on him. It breathed again, and sparks of heated dust blew across Eren's face. The monster whispered, not with sound, but inside his mind. "My blood, you return." Eren felt heat surge through his veins. His skin glowed faintly blue. He whispered back, "No, I'm not yours." The Titan Maw growled, "You are mine, made from my core, flesh of my flesh, power of my power." Eren clenched his fists. Images flashed inside his mind, memories not his own. A massive creature dying under a burning sky. Scientists harvesting a glowing core from its chest. A small infant crying as energy was implanted into his body. Pain, screaming, light. I was an experiment," Eren whispered. The Titan Maw's voice echoed again, "You were a weapon broken away from me, but now you return." Eren stepped backward. "I didn't come here for you." The Titan Maw's eyes narrowed. "You cannot escape your nature, hybrid child. Let me in, let us merge, become whole." Eren felt pressure inside his mind, like invisible claws pushing into his thoughts. He collapsed to his knees, grabbing his head. No, stay out." Blue light flickered around him. His power was reacting. The monster tried harder. "Give in, let me end your pain." Eren screamed in agony. His body shook. Blue veins lit up across his skin. The ground trembled as the Titan Maw leaned closer, mouth opening to swallow him. The interference, a sudden burst of plasma fire, hit the Titan Maw's head. Boom, the massive creature reeled back, smoke rising from its skull. A small squad of instructors emerged from the trees, wearing heavy armor and carrying plasma cannons. "Keep shooting," the leader shouted. "Don't let IT touch Vale." The instructors fired again and again. Plasma bolts slammed into the Titan Maw, leaving glowing scars on its skin, but the beast was too big, too old, too powerful. It roared, and a wave of heat knocked the instructors backward like leaves in a storm. Their weapons flew from their hands, their armor cracked, their masks shattered. Eren forced himself to stand. His legs shook, his vision blurred, but he stood anyway. The instructors struggled to get up. One shouted, "Vale, we need you, use your power." Eren looked at them with pain and anger. "You want my power. You always wanted it, you want to see if your weapon works." The instructor froze. "Eren, we didn't mean." Eren's voice grew colder. "You sent us here knowing this thing was alive." The instructor lowered his head in shame. "Yes, you used me. Yes, you were ready to sacrifice the students." The instructor didn't answer. He didn't need to. Eren turned back toward the Titan Maw. "No more running," he whispered. The ground cracked under his feet. Blue energy rose around him like flames. His eyes glowed bright white now. The Titan Maw hissed in pleasure. "Yes, awaken, show them your true form." Eren clenched his teeth. He stepped forward. "No, I won't become your monster." The Titan Maw leaned closer. "Then you die as a weak human," it lunged. Eren didn't move. He raised one hand. Blue energy burst outward. A shockwave hit the Titan Maw's face, pushing its massive head back several meters. The instructors stared in awe. What is he?" Eren's voice was calm, cold, controlled. "I am not your weapon, I am not your monster, and I am not your child." The Titan Maw roared and charged again. Eren leaped forward, not away from the monster, but toward it. Clash of blood and power. Eren slammed into the Titan Maw's skull with incredible force. The ground exploded beneath him. The beast stumbled backward. Eren's fists glowed blue, his skin cracked with light. His power surged like a storm. The Titan Maw swung a massive claw. Eren dodged, sliding under it in a blur, and punched the creature's arm. The impact created a shockwave that shattered nearby trees. The Titan Maw growled in frustration. It slammed the ground with its tail, creating a wave of molten sparks. Eren jumped high into the air, landing on the creature's back. Energy pulsed from his hands, sending burning cracks across the Titan Maw's stone-like skin. The beast screamed, shaking violently. But Eren held on. The instructors watched, stunned. "He's fighting a Titan-class creature alone. No human could do this." "He's not human." Eren delivered a final blow, an explosion of blue energy that burst from his chest like a star igniting. The Titan Maw roared in pain and collapsed to one side, but it wasn't dead, not yet. It looked up at Eren with blazing red eyes. "You fight my blood, you fight yourself." Eren's energy flickered. He fell to one knee, panting. The Titan Maw slowly rose again, stronger, angrier, hungrier. The monster whispered, "This is only the beginning." The ground cracked open even wider. Something else moved below, something even bigger. Eren's eyes widened. What else is down there?" The Titan Maw's mouth twisted into a monstrous smile. "My brood." Eren stepped back. Dozens of red lights appeared deep in the crack. Eyes, dozens, hundreds, thousands of eyes. The real awakening had just begun. The crack in the earth widened like a giant wound. Heat poured out, smoke rolled upward. The entire jungle seemed to lean away from the opening, as if the planet itself feared what was coming. The Titan Maw, massive, ancient, terrifying, stood half-emerged, its red eyes locked on Eren. But now more eyes glowed beneath it, small red lights first, then larger ones, then dozens, then hundreds. Each pair of eyes belonged to another creature. Another Titan spawn, another nightmare. Eren took one step back, chest rising and falling fast. What are those?" he whispered. The Titan Maw laughed inside his mind. "My children, my brood, my army." Eren felt cold sweat drip down his back. The instructors behind him panicked instantly. Run, retreat to the escape point, protect the students." But the escape point didn't matter anymore. Nothing mattered if those creatures got out. One instructor screamed, "If the brood surfaces, the entire planet will collapse." The Titan Maw answered with a dark, echoing voice, "The planet was always mine, you were only trespassers." Eren clenched his teeth. His skin still glowed from battle, but his energy flickered. He was getting exhausted. His arms trembled. His breath grew heavy. The Titan Maw leaned closer. "You cannot fight the brood. Join us. Merge with me in live." Eren shook his head. "No." His voice was small but steady. "I choose my own path." The Titan Maw roared. The ground shook so violently that several instructors fell. Trees tipped over. Stones rolled down the hillside. From the crack, the first brood creature climbed out. It was smaller than the Titan Maw, but still huge, 20 feet tall, with a body made of burning stone and muscle. Its eyes glowed bright red. Its teeth dripped molten saliva. Then the second emerged. Then the third. Then 10. Then 20. A whole swarm. Each creature's presence made the jungle air hotter. The temperature rose so fast that plants began to wilt and curl. Eren stared at them with wide eyes. "I can't fight them all," but the Titan Maw whispered, "You are part of me. They will not harm you if you accept my call." Eren's heart pounded. The brood creatures all turned toward him, sniffing the air, sensing his energy, feeling their kin inside him. One creature stepped forward and bowed its head slightly. Then another. Then 10 more. They saw him. They recognized him. Eren Vale, the hybrid, not human, not Titan, something in between. The Titan Maw lifted its head, triumphant. "They accept you, they know their brother. Let your human side fall away. Join us, lead them." The pressure in Eren's mind grew stronger, pushing against his thoughts, his memories, his identity. His vision blurred, his hearing faded. Only the Titan Maw's voice remained. "Become what you were made to be." Eren fell to his knees, gripping his head. No, I'm not one of you. His body began to glow brighter, his pulse matched the Titan Maw's, his bones vibrated with power, the hybrid inside him was awakening fully. The Titan Maw roared, fight IT and you die, accept IT and you live, Eren screamed. The instructors watched in horror. This isn't human evolution. It's emerging, he's turning into one of them. No, he's becoming something worse. Eren's fingertips cracked with light, his eyes flickered between blue and red, his pulse burned like fire beneath his skin. His human memories fought back, his mother's face, his childhood, the academy, the rooftop, the pain of the experiment, the promise he made to himself. I can't let it happen again, the Titan Maw's voice thundered inside him. You cannot escape, you are my blood, Eren whispered, breath shaking. I am not your blood. The Titan Maw responded with a single crushing word. Obey. Power slammed into Eren's skull like a hammer. His glowing veins burst with light, his heartbeat roared like thunder. His muscles cracked and repaired, he was changing, he was becoming something new, something terrifying, something powerful enough to destroy a planet. Then a sharp, piercing sound cut through the chaos. Beep, 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 Eren gasped, his wrist communicator. Lyra's voice came through, desperate, trembling. Scared, Eren, are you there? Please answer me. The Titan Maw hissed, ignore her, she is nothing, a weak human. Eren froze, his vision blurred again, but now he saw Lyra's face in his mind, her silver eyes, her trembling voice, her hand grabbing his arm in the tower, her words, you are not a monster, Eren. You are more human than they ever were. You're not alone. Eren breathed shakily, he grabbed the communicator. I'm still here, Lyra's voice broke with emotion. Eren. You have to listen, your vitals are spiking, your hybrid core is activating. If you let the Titan Maw take control, your human mind will disappear. Forever. The Titan Maw growled. Silence her. Eren forced himself to his feet. He screamed in pain, but he stood tall. The brood creatures stepped back, confused by his sudden strength. Lyra continued quickly. Eren, fight it. You are not the experiment they made. You are not the monster they fear. You are the boy who saved me, the boy who fought the Titan unit, the boy who tried to protect everyone. Her voice softened. You are Eren Vale. The Titan Maw tried to crush his mind again. She lies, you are mine. Eren's eyes glowed white. He stepped forward, fists clenched. No, he looked directly at the Titan Maw. I am not yours. The Titan Maw roared in fury, shaking mountains. Then you will die as a traitor, and the brood will feast on your bones, it lunged. The ground split under its weight. The brood creatures charged behind it. Heat waves rolled across the jungle. Eren inhaled deeply. He whispered, Lyra, thank you. Then he unleashed everything. A blinding blast of blue-white light erupted from his body. The jungle bent backward. The brood creatures stumbled. The Titan Maw paused mid-charge. Eren floated inches above the ground. His hair lifted from the energy. His skin glowed like a star. His eyes burned like two suns. He was no longer just human, no longer just hybrid. He was something else, something new, something the Titans had not predicted. A creature with human will and Titan power merged by choice, not by force. Eren Vale, the first awakened hybrid, he looked at the Titan Maw, his voice echoed like thunder. You wanted a weapon. You made a mistake. I'm not your weapon, I'm your end. The Titan Maw roared and charged again. Eren charged too. The collision shook the entire Deathworld. The war between hybrid and Titan had officially begun. The jungle trembled like a living nightmare. Trees cracked, stones rolled. The sky turned dark with smoke. Heat waves rippled through the misty air as Eren Vale faced the Titan Maw, the ancient monster that had created the hybrid inside him. Both stood ready, both glowed with power. Both wanted the world to kneel. The brood creatures, hundreds of towering monsters with burning stone skins, circled around them, forming a massive arena of flesh and fire. Their eyes glowed red, watching the inevitable clash. But Eren did not fear them. He had left fear behind. He had become something new, something the Titans never planned for. The Titan Maw leaned forward, its massive jaw splitting open like a canyon of molten teeth. Its breath was hot enough to melt the trees around them. It spoke inside Eren's mind. You are weak, you are fragmented, you cannot escape your nature, you cannot fight me. Eren's eyes glowed brighter. I don't need to escape my nature. His voice was steady, strong, calm. I just need to choose the right side. The Titan Maw roared and charged. The ground exploded with each step. Eren moved too, faster than any human, faster than any Titan spawn. Blue-white energy burst from his feet, launching him into the air like a shooting star. They collided in the center of the jungle. Crrrrash! The impact shook the entire Deathworld. Dust clouds shot upward like volcano smoke. Shockwaves ripped through the forest, tearing down trees. The brood creatures stumbled back, roaring in confusion. The Titan Maw swung one massive claw, each talon the size of a small car. Eren blocked it with his forearm. The force pushed him back, carving deep trenches under his feet, but he didn't fall. His skin cracked with glowing energy. His veins pulsed with Titan fire and human will mixed into one unstoppable force. He pushed the claw aside and punched the Titan Maw's jaw. A burst of blue light erupted. The Titan Maw stumbled, but it was far from defeated. It lunged forward again, jaws wide. Eren ducked, rolled under its massive body, and aimed a shockwave at its legs. The blast shattered stone-like flesh. The Titan Maw roared in pain. Traitor, you attack your own kind, Eren shouted back. I'm attacking a monster. He leaped onto the Titan Maw's back. Blue energy swirled in his palms, sparking and screaming. He slammed both hands into the glowing cracks in its spine. The creature howled. Its entire body glowed red-hot. Its brood creatures panicked, roaring in pain from the shared bond. The Titan Maw thrashed wildly, trying to throw Eren off, but Eren held on. For one moment he was winning, but then something snapped. A violent pulse of red energy exploded from the Titan Maw's core. Boom! The blast sent Eren flying through the air. He smashed into a huge tree. The trunk shattered, falling over. Smoke curled from Eren's chest. His breath shook. His power flickered. "Damn," he whispered, coughing blood. His legs trembled as he tried to stand. The Titan Maw loomed over him, towering like a mountain. It limped slightly, bleeding molten cracks, but its eyes burned brighter than ever. "Your human side makes you weak. Let it die. Let me in. Become who you were meant to be." Eren forced himself up. "I wasn't meant to be anything." His voice was low, tired, but unbroken. "I choose who I become." The Titan Maw screamed, the fury echoing across the jungle. Then perish as a broken creation, it charged again. Eren tried to move, but his legs gave out. He collapsed to his knees, dizzy. Exhausted, his energy was nearly gone. His hybrid core flickered weakly inside his chest. I can't," he whispered. The Titan Maw lifted one massive claw above his head. Eren closed his eyes. He expected pain, he expected darkness, he expected the end, but instead he heard her voice, Lyra, through his broken communicator. "Eren, stand up." Her voice was soft, shaking, full of emotion. "You're stronger than them, stronger than your past, stronger than the power inside you." He opened his eyes slowly. The Titan Maw's claw came down. Lyra's voice cried out, "Eren Vale, get up, you're not alone." The claw struck. Eren caught it with one hand. Blue energy exploded from his arm like fire. His eyes blazed white. He rose to his feet, pushing the Titan Maw's claw upward with impossible strength. The ancient beast shrieked, surprised. Eren Vale spoke through clenched teeth, "I fight for myself." He shoved the claw aside and sprinted forward. His body lit up. His bones hummed. Energy surrounded him like a storm of stars. He punched the Titan Maw in the chest. Boom, a crater appeared. He punched again. Boom, the Titan Maw staggered backward. He punched a third time. Boom, the creature crashed into the cracked earth. The brood creatures screamed as their connection shattered. Eren raised both hands, energy spiraling between his palms. He whispered, "This ends now." The Titan Maw looked up in fear, its first fear in centuries. No, you cannot. You are." Eren thrust his palms forward. A beam of pure blue-white energy shot out, hitting the Titan Maw's core directly. The jungle turned white from the light. The brood creatures collapsed, melting into stone. The ground stabilized, the mist cleared. The Titan Maw let out one final roar, not of rage, but of defeat. Its body cracked, glowed, shattered, and then silence. The Titan Maw collapsed into dust. The Deathworld stopped shaking. The light faded. Eren dropped to his knees. His energy finally burned out. His body trembled violently, but he was alive. He had won. The instructors stepped into the clearing slowly, their armor burnt, faces pale, eyes wide with disbelief. One whispered, "Is he human?" Another whispered, "No, he's something better." Eren looked up at the sky, breathing softly. "I survived." Lyra, static crackled from his wrist. "Eren, are you okay?" Lyra's voice whispered, choking with tears. He smiled weakly. "I'm still here," she cried in relief. Eren laid back on the ground, exhausted, staring at the ruined sky. This wasn't the end of his journey. It was the beginning, a hybrid with will, a creature with choice, a weapon who refused to be controlled, a boy who became stronger than his creators. And somewhere above the Deathworld, a hidden ship watched everything. A voice whispered from inside, "Subject Vale Phase 2 begins now."